Because if they have the capacity, they're going to be upping their plant counts because
We've got quite a crowd
they can
this
sell
morning.
outside of their own attached center.
Yeah.
All right, we got a lot of business.
Jessica would like a picture with us.
Okay.
He shouldn't be depending on
I call to order this meeting, the Board of County Commissioners. If you would please rise, I would invite you to rise for invocation with Todd Luce, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning, folks. Good morning. To God, please. Gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we ask a blessing upon the proceedings of this meeting, that the concerns would be heard and understood, Lord, and also that you'll be with each and every one of the people who make the decisions for our county, that our county and our community would be strengthened by this meeting, Lord. We pray this in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Todd. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Payne,
Present.
Commissioner McFall,
Present.
Commissioner Bell,
Present.
County Attorney Jackson,
Present.
County Manager Bryant,
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Koch.
Present.
Okay, next we'll move to the approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, we have at least one change that I am aware of on today's agenda. That change is to reschedule the public hearing that currently is scheduled for 10 a.m. this morning, to reschedule that to Tuesday, August 28th, also at 10 a.m. That public hearing is a liquor license modification of premises up at the Royal Gorge Bridge. So with that change, I move to approve today's agenda.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Any further discussion? At 10 o'clock, we still will have to
do the motion.
do a motion. Okay. All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay. Move on to the consent agenda. I see no public hearings are in the immediate future, although we are scheduling a special meeting at 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, September 4th to appoint a new interim sheriff. So, do have that.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne,
Aye.
motion carries.
Move on to administrative and informational, staff and elected officials report. We'll move on to the county clerk's monthly report. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Dottie.
Morning. So the total motor vehicle fees, sales taxes, and recording fees collected for July of 2018 were $1,240,908.64. Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $683,014.62, which was 55% of the total fees and is $46,579.21 more than July of last year. So year-to-date, we are up $332,513.79.
That's good news for everyone because that's the money that we share with all of the special districts throughout
Yep.
Fremont County.
All
so,
of Fremont County.
yes, it's not just us,
No.
unfortunately, because we could put
Darn
that
it.
to use.
Yes.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move to approve accept the clerk's report for July of 2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Payne.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move on to the county manager's report. Good morning, Sunny.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So just a couple of items that I wanted to briefly talk about. On July 31st, we had the Agriculture in Disaster workshop, and I just wanted to say good job to Commissioner Payne, or I'm sorry, Commissioner McFall. I'm looking at you and called you the wrong name.
I was going to say, okay, but
So,
I didn't really do it.
He did a really good job in putting this all together, so I appreciate all of the work that he put into that. On August 7th, I attended the National Night Out, so I don't know however many people were there. I went to the Florence one, took my little boys there, and it was a wonderful event. So it's a great event put on by the Florence Police Department, the State Patrol, and the Sheriff's Department. And then they had one here in Canyon City as well, and I think that those are really good events to participate in. Yesterday afternoon, we met with the City of Florence, their City Council, and some of their staff, so it's always good to see what's going on in Florence. It sounds like they have a lot of really exciting things that are coming up. And then last, we're getting ready to start our 2019 budget process. So I sent all of the templates out to the departments, so it's hard to believe that we're looking here in a few months at adopting a 2019 budget, but it's quickly upon us, and we are moving forward. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else for Sunny? Okay, how about other staff or elected officials?
I would just make one quick note, Mr. Chair. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to be at the Golden Age Center and to celebrate with them their 57th anniversary. So I just wanted to say, great group of folks. If you've never had the opportunity to stop by, go and see them sometime. Really good people, and they've been there 57 years now. So congratulations to them.
Okay.
I just have one note that I want to make, that we did come out of fire restrictions countywide. It is still very dry out there, though, especially in the west end of the county. So just hope everybody's still diligent and smart, and let's not burn everything down.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else have anything? Okay, let's move on to citizens who wish to address the commissioners on matters not scheduled on the agenda. I have one with George Story. Good morning, George.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, George.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm George Story. All of you probably know me. Anyway, I think we have a very interesting 7th U.S. military, which is proposed by the Trump administration. It will be called the Space Force. Of course, it has to get financial backing from Congress, so it's theoretical, but I think it's probably going to happen. And I think it's really interesting. It's basically coming out of the Air Force, which was our 6th U.S. military, and of course the Air Force came out of U.S. Army. So I think it sends a very clear picture to hate groups like ISIS, Al-Qaeda, etc. Don't mess with the United States of America.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, George.
Thank you, George.
Is there any other citizens who wish to address the commissioners? Items not on the agenda. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to old business for consideration. First up is the OPC 14-00011 Pure Medical LLC. Findings from a public hearing held 3 weeks ago, July 24th, 2018. Excuse me. I'm going to have Commissioner Bell read these findings. I believe we have 15 of them put together, and then we'll get a motion.
All right, Mr. Chair, this is the findings that are included in resolution, I believe it will be number 28, in resolution 28. Okay, bear with me. Pure Medical OPC premises is in the Agricultural Rural Zone District with an address of 440 8th Street in Penrose, Colorado. The Agricultural Rural Zone District is intended to promote a rural residential environment. Residential uses will be primarily in conjunction with agricultural activities such as the raising of crops and livestock. Commercial uses will be limited to defined home occupation of a professional nature and commercial uses regulated to agriculture. That's from Fremont County Zoning Resolution 4.4.1. Item 2, the proposed modification is for construction of a new building, 90 feet by 60 feet, for an additional 5,400 square footage to be used for vegetation, propagation, flower, harvest, drying, and storage. The building will contain a bathroom, wash station, and will allow for additional cultivation, harvest, and storage space. The building, however, is 2 stories, which increases the square footage to as much as 10,800 square feet. The precise combined square footage of both floors is unknown. Pure Medical has only indicated there will be drying racks and an office upstairs. 3, applicant states this building would not result in a true expansion, but also states that the present facility is an outdoor seasonal grow, and the building would simply reallocate plant count to months when the facility is usually inactive. From the authority's perspective, construction of a new building and changing an outdoor seasonal grow to a year-round grow facility with active use of the facility during times when the facility historically was inactive is a true expansion. Item 4, in May of 2016, the authority approved a modification request from Pure Medical to allow expansion of the outdoor grow area for Pure Medical and construction of a 1,200 square foot harvest building with an approved odor mitigation system. 5, on October 25th, 2016, the authority, in its capacity as the local licensing authority, adopted amended Fremont County medical marijuana business licensing regulations in which it states that the most desirable licensing of a new OPC is in rural areas of Fremont County on acreages of 10 or larger, no closer than 1,000 feet to any residences located in the general vicinity of the site. The Pure Medical facility, although existing and not new, does not meet that siting criteria policy in the amended regulations, nor does the anticipated expansion. Number 6, on May 15th, 2018, Fremont County approved a request for the transfer of an OPC license from Pure Medical's Colorado Springs facility solely for the administrative process of curing and testing harvested from the Colorado Springs OPC. Item 8, Pure Medical received authority approval for construction of canopy structures over a large portion of the outdoor cultivation area, but those structures are not yet constructed. Item 9, the maximum lot coverage allowed in the AR zone district is 15%. Lot coverage means the percentage of a lot that, when viewed directly from above, would be covered by structures or buildings or any part thereof, excluding projected roof eaves, uncovered porches, terraces, decks, steps, sidewalks, and concrete slabs, but would include canopy structures. Lot coverage is the same for a 1-story and a 2-story building with the same footprint, even though the potential impact of a 2-story building could be significantly greater. Item 10, the addition of the proposed building would increase the total lot coverage to 15.5 to 15.6%, which exceeds the maximum allowed by the Fremont County zoning resolution. Pure Medical has offered to reduce the size of the canopy structures to avoid exceeding the maximum lot coverage. The anticipated maximum percentage of lot coverage demonstrates the intensity of the land use on this 7.4-acre parcel. Number 11, the surrounding properties in the agricultural rural zone district consist of scattered homes, barns, and outdoor agricultural and ranch uses. Exhibit 3.1 to the applicant's modification request shows 4 single-family residences and irrigated land as the surrounding land uses within 1,000 feet of the licensed premises. While Pure Medical may qualify as a commercial agricultural use, as anticipated in the zoning resolution, the addition of buildings, canopies, and other structures to the point of exceeding the maximum lot coverage and adding significant space for indoor cultivation year-round transforms the property into a use more closely resembling an industrial operation, which is inconsistent with the surrounding properties. Item 12. The authority is concerned about the apparent lack of candor by Pure Medical. Despite neighborhood opposition to marijuana cultivation facilities in general, the authority has approved previous requests for modification for the construction of the 1,200 square foot building, expansion of grow area, construction of canopies, and transfer of the Colorado Springs OPC license. By way of example, and not a comprehensive list, the authority still does not have a proposed floor plan showing the uses for either story of the proposed new building, nor does it have information about how many flowering plants, in addition to the mother plants, will be cultivated indoors on a year-round basis. Item 13. The authority attaches no significance or correlation to Pure Medical's May 1st, 2018 request for the transfer of the OPC license from Colorado Springs to Penrose for administrative purposes and the May 1st, 2018 submission of this modification application. The licensing regulations grant no entitlements to applicants and clearly state no person shall have any entitlement or vested right to licensing under these local regulations. Number 14, there are 9 OPC facilities in the Penrose area that began operations prior to the adoption of the Fremont County medical marijuana business licensing regulations, which were allowed to continue, providing the owners-operators brought the facilities into compliance with those regulations. None of these facilities, nor any other in the unincorporated areas of Fremont County, have been granted any entitlement or vested rights for modification or expansion. Finally, item 15, the local licensing authority may refuse issuance of a license or modification of licensed premises based on the number and type of optional premises cultivation operations located near the premises under consideration. The licensing authority has previously found and continues to find there is an undue concentration of OPC premises existing in the Penrose area, and modifications for expansion need to be carefully scrutinized to avoid further adverse impacts and neighborhood incompatibility issues. Mr. Chairman, this resolution is a resolution denying the application for modification of OPC 14-001, and I therefore move for approval.
Move for approval of denying the modification. I second that.
Approval of the resolution
Resolution.
which denies.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on this matter? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we move on to new business, a proclamation for Suicide Prevention Month. Jessica Cobbler's here. Good morning, Jessica.
Good morning.
Good morning. We do have a copy of it. There it is.
Okay,
Thank you for having me. My name is Jessica Cobbler, and my 18-year-old son, Dalton, died by suicide on June 18th of 2014. Dalton was an amazing son, big brother, grandson, and friend. He was kind, caring, smart, and handsome. Dalton was the friend that others reached out to for advice and help when they needed it. Dalton was the 2014 Florence High School valedictorian. He had been accepted to and was preparing to attend the Colorado School of Mines that fall. There were no warning signs with Dalton. We had no idea. If this can happen to my family, it can happen to yours. As we talk about suicide or hear it in the news, please remember that the statistics
take all the time you need.
the lines on the graph and the push pins on the map represent someone. A son, a daughter, a mom, a dad, a friend, Dalton. They all have names. I will always be a voice for Dalton and a voice for suicide. I'm also here to let you know that we're doing the second Out of the Darkness Community Walk hosted by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. The walk will take place on Saturday, September 8th at the Reynolds Trailhead of the Arkansas River Walk. Check-in and registration begins at 9 and the walk starts at 10 a.m. You must register for the walk and you can do so online at afsp.org/Fremont. You can walk as an individual, join a team, or create a team. There is no fee to walk, but this is a fundraiser for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. The mission for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is to save lives and bring hope to those affected by suicide. I brought some little handouts that will give you the information about the walk if anybody would like me. Thank you for letting me be here.
Thank you, Jessica. My wife and I did that walk last year, and I think most of us has probably been affected by somebody over suicide, and we thank you for your courage. Okay, did you want a picture, Jessica? Okay. I'm sorry, did anybody else have anything? Let's go ahead.
Do we want to approve it first?
We should.
We should approve it first, sorry.
Are we going to read it?
We, a little flustered here, sorry.
Tears tend to do that to us.
Go ahead, sorry.
Are you going to read it?
I think I've done my share of reading for the morning.
I
Go ahead.
I don't have it on my computer.
I don't
can't.
either.
I lost the whole day up here on my computer, so.
I don't have to be here.
Well,
Yeah.
then,
I'll do it.
this is the National Suicide Prevention Month proclamation, September 2018. Whereas Fremont County is home to more than 46,000 people, a place of destination for thousands of visitors annually, and the site of about a dozen state and federal correction facilities. And whereas the Fremont County coroner reported 23 suicides were investigated in 2017, that is about 5% of all local deaths. And whereas Fremont County's average number of deaths by suicide typically is 12 to 16 per year, and whereas suicides cost Colorado a total of more than $1 billion in combined lifetime medical and work loss in 2010, or on an average $1.2 million per suicide death, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And whereas in Colorado, suicide is the first leading cause of death for ages 10 through 14 and is the 7th leading cause of death overall in the state. And whereas 5 times as many people die by suicide in Colorado annually than from homicide. And whereas the total deaths to suicide reflect a total of 23,267 years of potential life lost before age 65. And whereas on average, 1 person dies by suicide every 8 hours in the state. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed by the County Commissioners of Fremont County that the month of September 2018 is hereby designated as National Suicide Prevention Week in Fremont County. The County Commissioners do urge all people of Fremont County to become educated on suicide prevention awareness and support those affected by suicide during this week as well as throughout the year. The only thing that I wanted to add to this conversation, Jessica, was you're absolutely right when you said that suicide touches everyone. Everyone that we know has been affected by suicide. But even more than that, suicide affects an entire community. I remember when your son died. I had never met him. I had never met you, and yet I went to his funeral to honor him and to honor his life and to support the family. And so even if it's someone that you don't personally know, I just want you to know that suicide affects us all. We all suffer greatly when it happens. So thank you for being such an advocate and standing up and voicing an opinion about this very important matter.
I have a hard time following that with anything, so Mr. Chair, I will just move to approve this proclamation for Suicide Prevention Month for the month of September, Fremont County.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Now,
Now we can
Now we can do.
okay.
It got moved into 828. It's back where it belongs.
828.
It's back, I put it back where it belongs.
Thanks.
So it got moved somehow?
Yeah, it got moved into next meeting's packet.
Electronics, you gotta love them.
This is why I copy it onto my desktop of my Surface before we come downstairs.
It's good somebody does that because
Yes,
all
it
three
is.
of us right here lost it. So, all right. Let's move on to item number 2. Proclamation for the Fremont Hall Fall Heritage Festival, September 4th, 2018 through October 14th, 2018. And I believe we have the Heritage Commission with us, at least a few members. Good morning.
Good morning.
And one brave enough to step forward. Good morning. Would you
have to come so far.
Could you pull the microphone down a little bit so we can get you on tape?
Why?
We want to hear you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's that time of year that the Heritage Commission is sponsoring the Fremont Fall Heritage Days for September 4th through October 14th. I was trying to think how many years it's been, 4 or 5?
Something like that.
Something like that.
and it seems like it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so we're here to do that. Just an FYI, our new books came out. If you haven't seen them, Rocks and Fossils. So they're starting to get around the county, and so we're doing that. Basically, what we do as the Heritage Commission is that we have an application form on our website and on the county website for anybody that does any events, including activities down there in Florence, the Pioneer Days, Apple Days, and Penrose. Any of those are all included. We advertise on our websites and kind of post everything for things that's going on, so the word gets out there in different locations.
And what is that website?
FremontHeritage.com.
FremontHeritage.com.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there was a link from the county website to our website.
I think it's still there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
do you want me to read this, or?
Betsy, I do have it on my computer now, but if you would read it, that would be great.
Gee, thanks. Alrighty. Fremont County Board of County Commissioners proclamation, Fremont Fall Heritage Day, September 4th, 2018 through October 14th, 2018. Whereas Fremont County is a community that values authentic and engaging activities that celebrate our heritage and provide interesting, fun, and educational events that promote awareness of our heritage. And whereas Fremont County is a community that benefits greatly from the many contributions of individuals and organizations that actively seek to identify, preserve, and promote our rich heritage and historical resources, which includes recorded history as well as our paleontology and genealogical richness and diversity. And whereas Fremont Heritage, our County Heritage Commission, encourages local festivals and events that help educate residents and visitors about our heritage. And whereas the Fremont County Heritage Commission, in cooperation with Fremont County Historical Society, Royal Gorge Regional Museum and Historical Center, and the Western Fremont Historical Society, is sponsoring the Fremont Fall Heritage Days during the period of September 4th, 2018 through October 14th, 2018, to provide venues for celebrating our heritage and historical resources in communities throughout the county. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed by the County Commissioners of Fremont County that September 4th, 2018 through October 14th, 2018 is hereby designated as Fremont Fall Heritage Days. The County Commissioners do urge all people of Fremont County to participate in identifying, preserving, promoting, and celebrating our rich heritage and historical resources during this period throughout the year.
Job well done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'll
All right,
entertain a
anything
motion.
else? Okay, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the proclamation for Fremont Fall Heritage Festival to run September 4th through October 14th of 2018.
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, I'd just like to thank you guys with the Historical Society for doing what you do. Our heritage, it brings out a lot of information that it's pretty interesting. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
You do a lot of really good work. So, yeah, thanks for being here this morning. I just want to say good luck with all of those events. We'll be watching them.
All righty.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll go ahead to item number 3, introduction of the new CSU Extension County Director, Jeremy McNeely. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys? this
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good.
All right.
Here I am.
You made it through the county fair.
Relatively
Still upright.
unscathed.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Pretty good. Yep. It went really well. The quality of animals was outstanding. It was really good. And then the volunteers holy cow, so many, so good. So yeah, it was exciting. There's a lot of exciting things that I was glad to see out there. Those two things.
All right. Have you tell us a little about yourself and some of your
All right.
idea.
Well, I am originally from Kit Carson, Colorado, out on the Eastern Plains. And I was a music teacher for 7 years when I got out of college. And then had got my master's during that time and got was going to be a superintendent and found extension, and I thought that fit my qualifications a little better, especially in the agriculture part of it. So I applied for that in our county in Cheyenne County and got it, and had a great 3.5 years. And during that time, I learned how to play guitar, and decided I want to do that professionally. And that was a lot of fun until I met my wife, then had to get a real job. So we went to work on a ranch, went back out there for a while, and then an agent position came open in Kiowa County, and I was there for 1.5 years before coming to Fremont County for the director position. So it's been great. Love it here.
All right.
Good. So you've been here a couple months now, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you settling in with the folks and getting to meet folks, and
Yeah.
what do you think about the community so far, I guess?
You know what's been really good? Like I said, just the volunteers and people that support 4-H and extension is really good. You know, I'd like to see extension be able to get more involved with producers across the whole county, and that's one of my big goals is this winter is to develop a blog and start putting information out that way and getting our master gardeners a little more exposure. They are actually utilized very well, so that's pretty cool. I did a Google Analytics just to see how our website was working, and actually we had 650 views in a month, so I thought that was promising. Although that was fair, it's still encouraging. Yeah, just some of that stuff, and then I've been working with Jill Filer to get extension a bigger role in emergency management, especially fire and stuff, and figuring out what to do with livestock. So we've been working on that a little bit, but yeah, it's been good. It's been a good fit so far, and hopefully we'll be for quite a while.
Well, we're excited that you're here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I would say we're very happy to have you here, and I'm really excited to see what ideas and plans and things that you have to look forward to the future, some changes maybe that will be made in the future, and to bring in, more folks, more kids, to grow and expand the program, because it's an amazing program.
Right.
So thank you.
Good. Yeah, we don't have anything definite yet, but we're coming up with some stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Having great conversations anyway.
Good. Well, welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
you bet. Okay, the hour did reach past 10 o'clock. We did have a public hearing scheduled for liquor license modification of premises. The Royal Gorge Bridge Company did call this morning. They wanted this continuation to August 28th. Do we need a motion on that, Brenda?
Yes,
Okay. To table it or just continue?
to continue.
Mr. Chair, I move to continue the public hearing to August 28th for the liquor license modification premises for SSA Inc.
At 10 a.m.?
at 10 a.m.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll move back to new business item number 4, a special event liquor permit held at the Red Barn Pavilion, 448 K Street in Penrose for Star Point. Ron Hinkle and Mary Yang are here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you folks?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. So what do you got going on?
Well, as you know, Starpoint has always been on the leading edge of providing services to adults and children with developmental and intellectual disabilities. And the Starpoint Foundation has always been on the leading edge of providing innovative and interesting and very profitable fundraising events. And we are coming to you with the intent of asking for a special liquor license for a new event, for an inaugural event that we will be having on the 8th of September out in Penrose at the Nelson Family
Jenkins.
Jenkins Family Farm Orchard. It's a pavilion that they have erected, and they have a limited number of events so far, but seats about 100 people, and We are bringing farm to table type of event, working with local orchards and local farms and local chefs to bring a very interesting and tantalizing menu to those 100 patrons. And this is, we're working with the Abbey, who are providing the wine for us, and working with Florence Brewing Company to provide some brews that will be paired with the menu. Mary Yang is, I brought Mary on as my assistant or co-director for the foundation, and she has interesting subject to talk about on how you can buy tickets for the
I was just going to ask, so I'm not going to have to ask now.
So the tickets are, it's $40 for single ticket and $75 for a double ticket. We've created an event on Facebook, and it's got the link that is on our StarPoint page. Go directly to buy the tickets. We have a new website that we're working for in the foundation. It's classy.org. It's got a really long URL, so I won't say unless you guys want that. I can email it to you. But yeah, so we have a new system and a new way to just go on now and be able to create minutes and just click on and buy tickets. So.
We did notice that in the paper this morning or yesterday that there's another event in Florence, and some gentleman by the name of Charlie Bell is providing the food for that event. So I don't know if he plans on coming over to our event after.
Don't look at me for an answer.
As they say, last to know.
As this clearly points out, my name's not Charlie.
But we hope that Charlie's wife does it too.
All right, we'll see what she can do.
I believe all the prerequisites for obtaining the special liquor license have been met, and we look forward to a very successful inaugural event. Any questions?
Okay, how about security for your event?
We've hired a D&D security, local security firm, and their prerequisites are for 100 people or less, we have to have one security person assigned. So we are employing the D&D security to provide that.
Okay.
We are providing our own server for the alcohol, and that individual was scheduled to attend the tips training or the server training that's provided by the City of Canyon City and the Department of Revenue on the 30th of August, I believe. Board members, foundation board members will be serving, and will provide a buffet line and portion control. And we'll have some consumers there as well. We will be bussing the tables afterwards. We do have an acoustic guitarist who will be providing background music for the first 2 hours, and then a live auction with some very interesting items to be purchased by the patrons for the third hour. It's be held from 6 to 9 p.m. The address is 448 K Street.
Okay. 6 to 9 p.m. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
Staff report?
Oh, thank you. Staff report.
Yep, all the paperwork's in order. Everything's good to go as far as our office is concerned.
Okay.
My only question, Dottie, is our sheriff has a note here saying when he went to check, he didn't see a posting, but it may have already been turned in. So I just want to double check on that.
Yes.
Okay, that was his only concern.
Yep.
So, all right.
Okay.
Just a final comment, it is limited to 100 patrons, so the first 100 people that buy their tickets will get to the event.
Okay. Any other questions?
I do know my wife saw that Facebook page, whatever it is, and hey, do you want to? So I don't know. We may possibly be there.
The two caterers are Beyond Madness, which you've had any of Beth Katzmar's food, you know it's going to be good, as well as a new caterer, the Good Neighbors. He's essentially the chef and caterer at the Vineyard Church.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Entertain a motion?
Sure, Mr. Chair. I move to approve the special event liquor permit for Star Point to be held at Red Barn Pavilion on Saturday, September 8th from 6 to approximately 9 or 10 p.m.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, good
All right.
luck.
Good luck.
Yes, we
know,
wish you the best.
Myself and Commissioner McFall are planning on being at the Rim to Rim run. Yeah. I'll probably walk it.
No. We can't run far on
No,
the second day.
I'm not going to be
So
running
we'll do
it,
the
but I
rim to
will
rim, then we'll be
probably
in
walk
Penrose.
it.
Yeah.
We appreciate your support in looking at the routes.
You bet. Okay.
We talked to the city today, and they're going to be looking at the city side.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ron.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we move on to item number 5, hotel and restaurant liquor license renewal for WHP Crossroads LLC. And we have Dr. Bellantoni with us.
Good morning. Apparently,
Good morning.
I'm all alone on this one. Mr. Peets was supposed to be here.
Did you get the packet that I sent him?
And all I got was a copy of the top letter. That's what I'm going to direct my comments to. Is that okay? Because did I not see the rest was just the renewal application and the conditions of the permit?
Yeah, the permit,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so I'm there.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here on behalf of Mr. Peets, of course. And apparently what has happened is a detail, of course, in that I'm going to show you, I've only made 5. Can you share? Okay, thank you.
I believe we can.
Because I think Sunny doesn't, well, you don't have to. Sunny doesn't.
We can share if you need to, if you would like to keep one.
Thanks.
What I'd like to do first is correct the photographs. Don't jump ahead of me. I'm a school teacher. Pictures first.
I'm a bad student. I already
Well-
went to the back.
Yeah, because you delete stuff from your computer. Of course you are.
I've always been a good student. I am at page
Are you
1.
pictures? So what I'd like to show you is I took these pictures on Friday morning because when Mr. Peets received the notification, as was necessary, he says that the hemp processing is gone. And as you recall, during the last meeting, and it was this meeting with the commissioners, Mr. Peets had just sold he had sold the hemp that was on the premises. He only had about 1 bag left. So the hemp processing was in fact temporary, and it is seasonal. So he has expressed to me his frustration with the industry. And so what I'm here to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you, and what I tried to do with these pictures is to show the before and after. So if we start at the top, figure 1, at the public hearing, that was where the hammer mill was. The hammer mill is not on the premises anymore. There are a few sticks left. I mean, it's just to be swept up. So that's inside where they were storing the twigs after the hemp buds were removed and put in super sacks. Figure 2 is standing in the center of the hemp processing area and looking towards the door, the main door to the west. And then if you go to figure 3, this is one of the locations where the super sacks were stored. You can see it's full of, I don't know, it's full of shells and stuff. So if we go to page 2, figure 4, you can see so you see the parallel structures in the wall, the doors and the beams and things. So you can see that the processing is no longer in the facility. Then if you go to 5, you can see on the right where the super sacks were stored. That was and these photographs, by the way, are from the PowerPoint that I presented to you that day. So if you go to 5, you can see super sacks are gone. And then 6 is the whole, I tried to get the whole span of that area from the back door facing into the processing area. And then on the last page, figure 7, that's the infamous wall. and you can see that the equipment is no longer there and things been taken down. So the hemp processing, so potentially what didn't happen, I'm guessing, and I don't know the procedure, but that's ignorance is no excuse for the law, I get that, is the written notice that the hemp processing was shut down and removed. And if that's what's necessary to get the liquor license renewal, then that's what I will do. What I'd like to draw your attention to now is the 11 by 17. And I apologize, this is scaled for a 24 by 36. I want you to see Mr. Pete's dream. Now, I heard about this dream back when he purchased the little triangle against Highway 115. And just stop and take a look at this. Mr. Pete's has spoken to me repeatedly. His dream is an RV park and resort. And he would have an event center if somebody wanted an event, a family reunion, he didn't care. He would have the restaurant for people who wanted to eat in or wanted to have delivery to their sites. And you can see where he's had an engineer and a surveyor actually out there. And this, a really interesting thing to me is if you can get the microscope out, for those of us, maybe take off your glasses, and you check the dates on the bottom of these. One of these is January of 2017, and another one says September of 2014. So this is not a yesterday or a quick thought. This is Mr. Pete's dream for the Crossroads Event Center. And has he gotten that far on it? No. It is a big project. It's got a lot of infrastructure, drainage, and it's going to take a lot of coming to see you guys, of course, for a zone change. And yes, he has talked to you about his zone change, hasn't he, Director Cope? He has. So he knows that plan. But this is his picture for that. And he thinks that right there at 115 and 50 is a perfect place for this. If it's a perfect place for someone to set up and go to the bridge and go to south to Westcliff and come back and stay, this is his dream. He hasn't gotten very far as he's been distracted a couple of times. But he has expressed his frustration with some of his ideas. You have to give him credit for trying. Not that he enjoys coming here. And he
What's
is a bit
there
of a
not to
challenge.
enjoy?
What?
What's there not to enjoy?
Well, we all know how frustrating. I mean, I love coming here.
Thank you for that clarification.
As long as this is my audience back here. I don't care for it when the room is full. Let me just say that. So one is the hemp is gone, and the pictures show that. Number two is please, this is not, this is a thought. This is what he wants to do, and he knows he has a ways to go. And whether he does this in phases, that's another thing coming up. But again, he did speak, was it in May? I think we talked in May. Mr. Pete's came to see you about the RV park zoning. Because then I think I sent a whole bunch of information to Mr. Watts so that he knows exactly how many spaces and what the spacing has to be and all that sort of thing. And this has to go to the fire chief just to get the roads wide enough and all of that sort of thing. So, that being said, one, Mr. Pete's has cleaned up Crossroads substantially. The drainage works. His vision for this has been consistent since 2014, and he does get distracted. Hemp was a temporary thing, and it's gone. I was surprised at how full. I was expecting just a big empty, but in fact, you can see it's actually got storage in there.
And it's gone to never return again. Is that my understanding?
That's my understanding. He was passionate about shutting the door on the cannabis world.
So,
He's
see,
pretty
that's a
frustrated.
concern I have too. First of all, I didn't know that was a temporary deal.
I don't think he knew it was
I think.
Yeah, but the season is now. The harvest season is now. Or coming right up.
You know what?
Yeah. So he was passionate about putting this hemp in. Have you guys been aware that that was a temporary thing?
Well, it wasn't a temporary thing. They had an approved SRU for
Right.
it.
It was an SRU.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was a yearly thing, as needed, as they produced.
Maybe that's a better word, is it's an as needed. And as of right now, I don't know that he has any hemp growing right now. I mean, I know that he has part of his ranch that is in the cannabis world that is permitted with Pueblo, but that's not the hemp world. And I know that his relationship with Mr. Rorick, who is the hemp guru, is no longer in the picture. So,
Well, I think we made it pretty clear at the last time that he could either have the SRU for the hemp, or you could have a liquor permit, but you can't have both. Was that pretty much where
No, it
where
was
we
the
were at?
restaurant.
The restaurant upstairs
Yeah.
Is a
couldn't operate
separate
at the same time.
SRU.
we could have two SRUs as long as the restaurant was in abeyance while the hemp was in production. And my point this morning is that the hemp is not in production. And I do not know of or see hemp coming, and this was just last Friday. So if they were gonna have hemp coming in, they would not have this full of this basement is full of equipment and restaurant stuff and shelves and.
So is he willing to withdraw from the SRU? I mean, is that the proper
For the
terminology?
hemp.
What do we do? Tell me
For
what
the-
to do. Because frankly, I have heard him talk about this. This is what he would like to do.
So that may or may not, but I think that the hemp, production of hemp is going to come up real soon if it's not already started, of harvest of hemp. So in order to have the liquor license in the restaurant, I think the hemp SRU needs to go away personally.
Well, the SRU for the hemp provided that the restaurant SRU had to be held in abeyance, and if he wanted to reactivate it, he had to come before the board and request that. But I think it was pretty clear that they were going to be mutually exclusive, that he couldn't be processing hemp and running a restaurant and bar at the same time. The restaurant liquor license cannot be approved without a restaurant to attach it to.
Absolutely, I understand.
Under the liquor code, it has to have a restaurant. So if he can't run a restaurant, he can't have a liquor license.
I understand.
So I think he has to make an election. He's got to say, I want either this one or this one, because they're mutually inconsistent with each other. You can't have both at the same time.
So is there a way to put a pause on or an abeyance on the SRU for hemp processing? Or what process I do not know of, Commissioner McFall, of a hemp producer who is talking to Mr. Peets about anything. The one time I got a phone call, he refused to take the call. He doesn't want anything to do with it. So he wants to proceed towards this. He would like to renew his liquor license, and so I'm here to listen to what I need to do, or tell Mr. Peets what I need to do.
Do you have any thoughts on this,
Just
Matt?
give me a process, and then I'll go talk to Mr. Peets.
We need an official acknowledgement from Mr. Peets withdrawing the hemp, or at least giving us an indication that he will not be using that facility for the hemp processing.
So I will add to that and let you know my personal opinion. We didn't know this was the idea. We haven't discussed this at all. But my personal idea or opinion would be no more abeyance for this one, so we can do this one now, but then we're going to put this one in abeyance and we're going to do that one. Make the decision and send notification to the county completely withdrawing and closing down one of those permits.
One or the other.
Yes. No
That's
more of this
fair.
abeyance between one or the other.
Well, but the abeyance came up at the,
Yes.
during the commissioners' meeting on that, so that was a new thing for even us. So could we please,
Continue it to the 28th.
could we please?
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
could we continue it until September, because I am back east that week on business the whole week.
When is the liquor license actually?
Well, it continues until the board takes action. So it may already be expired, Dottie, is it?
It expires July 30th, and then
Yeah.
they
So
have a
did-
grace period.
So they have a grace period if it's before the board for determination. So what's that first meeting in September?
September 11th,
9/11.
9/11.
Sure, that's a, could we do that? Can I get on the agenda for that
Mhm.
day? All right.
And
so-
Brenda, just a quick question, because we had talked about this too. Are we going to require a food license at that time? to approve it? Because we had talked about there's no food license and you can't serve alcohol without a food license.
We can let them know on that one.
Okay.
Let me look it up again and see the language.
Okay.
Because Mr. Peets went through back when he did the zone change. He did that with Sid and getting the kitchen all upgraded and all those in order. He had all of that in order because I had to submit to you a year or so ago all those license renewals.
And
That
the
was
language
good.
on inactive licenses haven't served liquor basically for a year or more. And that was the second part of that. But then I was told that he operated briefly last summer. Sonny had even been there while he was in operation with the restaurant and bar for a brief period of time. But aside from that, we have the inactive license issue because they're not supposed to be held indefinitely without an active operation. So more specific plans from Mr. Peets might be appropriate on this one.
Okay.
I will do my best. So we are just Mr. Peets will just be a normal old business item. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
On September 11th.
You do
And
need
at
a
that
motion.
time, provide to you a decision as to which SRU he is going to maintain on the property.
And I'll let you know on the food license.
And we need that decision in writing, just to be clear.
Okay. So we need a motion for continuation.
So, Mr. Chair, I will move to continue the hotel and restaurant liquor license renewal for WHP Crossroads LLC till September 11th, and at which time we will need more concrete direction that Mr. Peets would like to go with this, and preferably one SRU.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. We'll see you in a month or
4
so.
weeks, yeah?
Thank you, Dr. Bellantoni.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm gonna sit.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 6, a resolution establishing fees associated with Building Department Environmental Health Services. Mike, you want to come up and say something on this? All right.
Look how excited he
I
is.
know. We have Mike Cox here with us from our
Thank
building.
you for not making me follow the suicide prevention proclamation. The idea of this resolution is simply to clean up all the various fees that are assessed through the building department. The last time we adopted a fee schedule, there were several fees that we had not been established yet, but we have been assessing those fees, such as, solar panel installation permits, which are kind of regulated by the state. We had the authority to collect those fees because they were in the adoption of the code provisions for panel installations, but we just never got everything on one fee schedule. And that's all we're trying to do. The only increases in the thing are the insignias for the manufactured home installations, and those are charged to us from the state. The state increased their fees, so we're increasing the pass on to the public. And then the inspections outside of normal business hours, I'm proposing to increase from a minimum 2-hour charge to a minimum 3-hour charge. The reasoning for that is that when we get called on a Saturday or Sunday inspection, we pay the inspectors a minimum 4-hour call out. So I just am trying to get a little bit closer to compensating for that. Outside of that, all the fees, nothing's increased, nothing's decreased, nothing's disappeared. We're just cleaning up the rest of the schedule.
Okay. Any questions for Mike?
I don't think so.
Okay. Resolution 29? Okay. Entertain a motion.
All right, all in? Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number 29, establishing fees associated with Building Department and Environmental Health Services.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Move on to item number 7, authorization for Fremont County to participate in opioid litigation against pharmaceutical companies. Who is going to take this?
I think
So, I was approached, oh my gosh, it's been over a year ago, I guess, by a firm that's representing a bunch of clients on a federal lawsuit against pharmaceutical companies who are dispersing opioids to the public, I guess at a extraordinary rate. So what the lawsuit basically is that these pharmaceutical companies are enabling doctors, I guess, so to speak, to get these opioids out in prescriptions, which, as everyone is aware or should be aware of, nationally we have an opioid crisis, and it's because of these drugs that are being prescribed to individuals, and then they're getting out there and being used wrong. So we asked Attorney Brenda Jackson to kind of check into it, see what other counties in the state are doing. You've probably seen on TV that Herfino County jumped in with the federal lawsuit. They're probably worse shape than we are, and we're actually in worse shape than most of us realize in this county. There's other surrounding counties that have elected, there's a few in the state that have elected to get in the federal lawsuit. But in Ms. Jackson's research, there's also some state litigation starting up. After, I guess you could probably take this a little better than me from there, if you would.
At the County Attorney's Conference in June of this year, we discussed the status of the opioid litigation and the possibility that mostly the Denver metro area counties and a number of municipalities were advertising for proposals from law firms to bring an action in state court to address damages to counties and municipalities who join the lawsuit from opioid. And this can be anything from public health expenses, law enforcement, our jail, the district attorney's office, Department of Human Services, children from opioid families. The impacts to the public at large and to the taxpayers at large could be enormous. We haven't even calculated those damages, but we know we're feeling it. Law enforcement's carrying Narcan, public health dispenses Narcan to address overdoses from opioids and heroin. So we do have a crisis in the county. And in June, they were advertising for law firms. Last week, I checked back with Arapahoe County, and they were just in the process of negotiating fee agreements with a firm out of Washington State that's going to be collaborating with a firm in Denver, Riley Posner, which is quite a good firm in Denver, to bring state court litigation on behalf of counties and municipalities who choose to join. State court litigation, in my opinion, has some distinct advantages over federal litigation. Number one, the number of parties is smaller. It's a little easier to manage. And if you're going to go after this type of company, home turf is usually a good idea. So the state court litigation is getting started. There are proposed fee agreements to look at. This is no expense to taxpayers. It's solely a contingency, and costs are advanced by the law firm and not reimbursable unless there's some kind of judgment or award against the pharmaceutical companies. So financially, there isn't a great risk to Fremont County. The workload, of course, is we're going to have to support our claims, and we're going to have to demonstrate the cost to the public at large and public agencies, and even private costs to the extent that they impact the county. So this would be approval to join those counties and municipalities and whoever else comes after in the state court litigation as opposed to the federal litigation, to see if we can recover some of the damages and impacts to our community from this crisis.
Okay. Anything else to add?
just great explanation, Brenda. Thank you.
Absolutely. With that, Mr. Chair, I would move to authorize Fremont County to participate in state court litigation, opioid state court litigation against pharmaceutical companies.
Second.
State or federal?
State.
State.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall?
Aye.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Payne?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. No further business coming before the board. We are adjourned.
So my computer is being recorded this morning, not even. That disappeared.
They're not happy.
Your whole shared drive was gone?
Yeah, it's.
But that's why I copy it onto my desktop, because I always do it before I come downstairs, because I don't know if I'm gonna have connectivity. Morning, Claire.